So in the last class, we were discussing about transport number mobility, ionic mobility. So I want to discuss a few more points on that part, so that that particular part is clear to you all. And then we will be discussing the applications of conductance. There would be some questions in in this week's assignment which we will be discussing. Uh, okay, so the time is 60. So let's begin with our today's session. So we were discussing about transport number and ionic mobility in the last session. So, so the question is, what is the effect of hydration sphere on the transport number of an ion? So, what is hydration sphere? For example, if we have a metal, sodium ion, and it is in aqueous solution, so the water molecules form a sphere around it, which will have a hydration radius of its own. So the total actual size of this ion would not be just its nuclear, its atomic size. It would be also included of this hydration sphere. So when ions form ions form hydrated sphere. For example, if we compare lithium plus Na plus and put K plus potassium. So we know this is we are going down the group, And when we are going down the group, their atomic size is increasing, right? Or you can say their ionic radii is increasing. Not atomic size for this particular, because they are in their ionic form. So their ionic radii increases down the group. So charge density is directly proportional to radius of hydration sphere. So higher the charge will be on the ion, metal ion, higher will like greater will be like larger will be its radius of hydration sphere. So this is one important point. And also in these three ions, which we if we go and see that they are down the group, their ionic radii increasing, their hydration sphere would be inversely proportional. So hydration sphere for lithium plus would be larger because of its small size. So if we write it like this, so here I mentioned this charge density point. So what is charge density? Charge per unit volume. So from if we compare between lithium plus Na plus K plus, and if the volume for a sphere, if we consider it to be 4 by 3 pi r cube, so we can say that it is inversely proportional to r cube. So as we know, down the group our radius is increasing, and charge for these ions are same. That is, down the group volume is increasing, which implies that charge density is increasing. And we just now discussed that charge density is directly proportional to radius of hydration sphere. So we can say that lithium plus will have the highest radius of hydration sphere, followed by sodium and then potassium. This kind of question comes in your exam, so you just keep this point in your mind. So now, what would be the effect on the this transport number? Greater the radius of hydration sphere. So now, higher the higher a particular ion will have its hydration sphere, it will be surrounded by water molecules. Its hydration sphere will be larger, so its mobility would be slower. So you can say that the greater the radius of hydration sphere, smaller will be its transport number. So the order should be T lithium plus T Na plus T K plus. Okay, is this point clear to everyone? Concept of hydration sphere. Okay, so one more thing we will discuss, that is ionic mobility, and we will be taking a few questions on ionic mobility. So we represent ionic mobility by mu. So what is ionic mobility? It is speed of cation or anion when potential gradient is 1 volt per meter. This is voltage. Volt is the unit for voltage per meter. Oh, sorry. Here, this is not voltage. I'm sorry about it. This is very like silly mistake. So it is basically velocity. We are talking about mobility, so it is velocity. I don't know why they have represented it as this. Okay, so you can write ionic mobility of cation as u plus mu plus, which is v plus divided by delta phi by d, where delta phi by d is potential gradient. This is the delta phi by d potential gradient, and its unit is this. So please note this formula. This is very important, and this is applicable for like cation and anion both. You just have to consider their uh, like the velocity of cation or anion, whichever is asked in the question. So there is another formula. uh, are you guys able to follow up all this like electrolytic conductance part? If you have any confusions, you can ask me and stop me wherever you you are doubtful about things. So this mu plus is represented by, okay, plus divided by, where F is Faraday's constant, and this it is conductivity of cation or anion. Here we are talking about cation, conductance of two or more electrolyte. Okay, are you talking about the titration? I guess that part we will be covering mostly like in the next lecture, seven or like 8 or 9 lecture. Okay, I guess that is about titration, and we have like there is particular week 7 or week 8 content which is based on that. Or else I'll look into it and we can take that topic tomorrow. Okay, fine. Okay. So this is conductivity, and then Z is charge factor. Charge on the cation or anion. We have already discussed about it in the previous sessions. So unit of this is Simon meter square per mole, or Simon. So This is Simon meter square. This is for conductivity unit. And if we divide it by the units of charge factor and Faraday's constant, it would be coulomb per mole. So charge factor does not have a unit, it is unitless. But Faraday's constant has unit of coulomb per mole. So what would be the overall unit of uh, ionic mobility? It would be Simon meter square per coulomb. And this is not how they represent it. You can write coulomb. Coulomb is basically charge. Charge is current into time. So if you replace it with ampere, which is the unit of current, and time, which is if we take second, so it would become Simon meter square ampere inverse second inverse. So this would be the unit of ionic mobility. Okay, and Faraday's constant we have discussed its value. It is 96485 coulomb per mole, or you can take it 96,500, 96,500 also. And they have kind of meter square second inverse. They have further simplified the unit for this also. If you see, I don't know if this is asked or no. So if you write this Simon as ohm inverse, meter square, ampere inverse, second inverse. So we know that V is equal to IR. Voltage is equal to current into resistance, which is the unit is ampere and resistance is ohm. So if you see that ohm inverse, ampere inverse, this could make voltage inverse. So the unit would be voltage inverse meter square second inverse. So this is the simplified unit for the ionic mobility. It's just for your knowledge, just in case this comes in exam or somewhere. So just simplification of the units. So now I'm giving you a question based on this ionic mobility. So let's try to solve it. Okay. Formula I have already given. Just try to give it a try. Okay. A dilute solution of KCl is placed between two platinum electrodes, which are 10 centimeter apart, across a potential difference of 10 volt, across which a potential difference of 10 volt was applied. So tell me which is the correct statement given in the question that the conductivity of K plus is 96.5 Simon centimeter square per mole. So the options are ionic mobility of K plus is 10 raised to minus 3 centimeter square second inverse, volt inverse. Option B is speed of k plus is 10 raised to minus 10 raised to minus 4 centimeter second inverse. Option C is distance traveled by k plus is 5 into 10 raised to 4 second, and the option D is potential gradient is 10 volt per centimeter. So tell me the correct answer for this. So try this question and please let me know the correct answer which you have kind of solved, or just solve all of the options. I have given the formulas. This is one formula and this is one formula. They are, use these two formulas to solve this question. Giving you 5 minutes, okay? Please solve the question and write in the chat box which should be the correct option. Option A. Okay, good Bhumika. Anyone else has an answer? Okay. Okay, so I'm solving this question then. So the first part is about ionic mobility, and we have this formula: conductivity divided by jet factor and Faraday's constant. So if you just place the values for cation, we have been given in the question that conductivity is 96.5 Simon centimeter square per mole, and the jet factor for KCl should be K plus Cl minus. So the jet factor should be 1 for cation. We are talking about cation, so it is 1, and even for anion it is 1. And what is our Faraday's constant? It is 96485 coulomb per mole. So if we solve it, we would get mu plus equal to 10 raised to minus 3. And if you can just put it directly as 96,500, because the numerator is somewhat matching to it, so you can just cancel it out like that. So it would be, the answer should be 10 raised to minus 3 centimeter square mole inverse second inverse. So this is your mobility, ionic mobility. So we can say that option A is correct. So if you check the next part, and we applied another formula, which is velocity divided by the potential gradient. Our velocity would be, that is, velocity is nothing but speed with a direction. When we have a magnitude and we have a direction, it is velocity. So it is 10 raised to, we can say that speed in a particular direction is velocity, into potential gradient. We have been given in the question potential difference was 10, with the with two electrodes which are 10 centimeter apart. So this would become 10 raised to minus 3 into 1 volt centimeter inverse, velocity into centimeter inverse. So this would come out to be 10 raised to minus 3 centimeter. This will become centimeter per second. Just check the units over here if I have messed it up somewhere. So the velocity would be 10 raised to minus 3 centimeter per second. And in the question we have been in the options, it was given to be 10 raised to minus 4. So this option is incorrect. Option A was correct. And then they have asked the distance traveled by potassium ion, K plus ion. So we know the velocity, and velocity is basically distance traveled per unit time. So if time is given, like in the option here only, the time was given, it is 5 into 10 raised to 4 second. So if you put these values, like distance we have to find out, it would become velocity into time. So velocity we found out from the last part, it is 10 raised to minus 3 centimeter second inverse into time, which is 5 into 10 raised to 4 second. So these will cancel out and the distance would be 50 centimeter. So, and in the option we were given as 5 centimeters. So option C is incorrect. But this is how you solve the particular like whatever. If someone asks about distance, mobility, you can now solve all of these type of questions. And the last part was potential gradient. So potential gradient is basically delta phi by d, potential difference divided by distance between the electrodes. So it is 10 volt divided by 10 centimeter. So the potential gradient is 1 volt centimeter inverse. So you can say that option here it was given to be 10 volt centimeter inverse. So it is incorrect. Is this question clear to everyone now? Okay, okay, good. Priyadarshini, Monisha, Jayashri, you guys also try to respond. So let's solve one more question on transport number. So if the transport number of Na plus is 0.463 in a dilute solution of NaCl in methanol, the transport number of H plus dilute solution of HCl in methanol will be. So this we have to find out when in the question it has been given that the conductivity at infinite dilution of NaCl in methanol is 96.9 ohm inverse centimeter square per mole, and the infinite dilution for HCl in methanol it is 192 ohm inverse centimeter square per mole. So calculate the transport number of H plus. Remember in the question you have been given the transport number of Na plus. So please try to solve this question. I hope you guys are enjoying question solving in these interactive sessions. So just try, give it a try. Giving you 5 minutes at 6:40. I want an answer from all of you. Priyadarshini, Manisha, Jayashri, you also respond, please. Write in the chat box if you have an answer. And I hope you guys are by now you guys are able to approach any question from this part. Bhumika, Sesha, any answers? And if you guys are unable to solve this question, just let any kind of question, just let me know, because then I won't be wasting any 5 minutes and all. Do you have an answer? Any probable answer would be fine. Okay, okay, fine. Let me solve this. So we know that for NaCl at infinite dilution, the total conductivity would be sum of its individual ions conductivity, right? Okay, so keep this thing in mind now. So now we, just a second, I'm gonna pick another slide. So I told you the transport number for positive for cation and anion makes up 1, the total transport number. So in the question here we are given that the transport number of Na plus is 0.463. So we know for Na plus the transport number is 0.463. So you can find out the transport number for Tna plus Tcl minus would make up 1 for NaCl. So the transport number for anion would be 1 minus 0.463. So Tcl minus would be 0.537. Got it? Now from NaCl, if we write this thing, this Tcl minus would be written as infinite dilution of NaCl. And I guess I have given this formula to you earlier or not. Okay. Okay, I have not given you this formula. You might have, because of this, you might have been, it would have been difficult for you guys to solve. So there is a relation between transport number and ionic mobility. or we can say conductivity here instead of ionic mobility, which is T plus is equal to N plus ionic conductivity. So there are two types of representing this. Either you write it as naught or T infinity, because at infinite dilution means zero concentration. That is, your concentration is approaching zero at infinite dilution. So we have written it as T naught, or you can write it as T infinity plus N plus infinity, or molar conductivity at infinite dilution. So for NaCl, if you write it, it would become T naught Na plus divided by delta M of NaCl, of total total conductivity at infinite dilution. Similarly for Cl minus, you can write it. So if we use this equation for anion, where we have N minus, which is, we can say it is ch- uh, charge vector. So if I am using Z plus or N plus or Z minus, N minus, these are basically N factor or charge factor. So for NaCl, this N minus would be 1, right? It would be 1. And we have been given, in the question here, we have been given the total molar conductivity of NaCl at infinite dilution. So if I substitute it, here we have transport number of H plus is point 0.7, yeah, almost same, yeah, 0.739. Glad you have solved it now. So let me try to solve it for everyone now. So from here we have now this value, infinite dilution conductivity. So, and we know the TCl minus, which is 0.537. So jet factor is 1 into molar conductivity for Cl minus divided by infinite dilution, which is 96.9. So your infinite dilution for Cl minus ion would come out to be 52.03. Okay. Then, so now we know that infinite dilution, the molar conductivity of individual ions would sum up to their total conductivity. So now from this we note the molar conductivity of Cl minus, which is 52.0353, and in the question we have already been given the infinite dilution molar conductivity, which is 192. So keep it here, and from this we can now find out the unknown molar conductivity of H plus ion. So this comes out to be 139.964, and in the question they have asked the transport number of H plus. So we now know this formula we know now. So it would be TH plus equal to N factor of H plus into molar conductivity of H plus at infinite dilution divided by molar conductivity of HCl. So this would be, N factor we know it is 1. So the solution would be 139.964 divided by total molar conductivity, which is 192. So this value comes out to be 0.7289. This is your correct answer. So, Bhumika, it is almost similar. Your answer is almost matching. So, is this question clear to everyone now? Priyadarshini, Manisha, Sesha, Bhumika, Sangeeta, Jayashri. Okay. Others, please respond. Okay. And please remember, this is an important formula. So keep this in mind. Okay. Let me check if we have any questions on these. Can you answer this question? We have already discussed the concept of this ionic mobility of ions, and it is in aqueous solution, so it should be based on the hydration sphere. Can you guys answer this now? Bhumika, option 3. Okay, right, correct. Can you give me the reason for this, Bhumika? Just like speak up, unmute your mic, and please try to explain why do you think option 3 is correct. Can you explain, Bhumika? Okay, option 3 is correct. So we know, we discussed about this Grotthus law of migration in aqueous solution, and we discussed about the jumping of H plus ions, and also about OH minus ions, and we discussed that OH minus and H plus ions would have their ionic mobility in water higher than any other ion present in the solution, because these ions follow a associated, or what we can say, this ion will shift here, this ion will shift here, so they kind of associated transfer of ions, associated movement of ions. So because of this Grotthus law, I'm not explaining it again, just go back to the last session and you can find it there, that H plus and OH minus ion will have highest ionic mobility than any other ion in aqueous solution. So we have H plus and OH minus ionic mobility highest. Then we have ions down the group of the first main group, which is not main group, of the first group in the periodic which is H plus Na plus. Sorry, there is lithium plus also, but that has not been given in the option. So we know that down the group, the ionic radii is increasing, and we discussed about the charge density, which is directly proportional to transport number. And this charge density is inversely proportional to volume, inversely proportional, and directly proportional to charge. We know the charge on the ions is same, but their ionic radii is increasing. So if their radii is increasing, their volume is also increasing. That means the charge density is overall decreasing. So down the group, charge density is decreasing on these ions, so which is directly proportional to the transport number. So the transport number, or we can say they will have a like smaller hydration sphere, and they will have a smaller transport number. So option 3 is correct. Is this question clear to everyone? We have already discussed the concept of this question. Okay. The ionic strength. Okay. Can you solve this question? We discussed this concept. Remember this formula: conductivity and ionic mobility. This formula. Use this formula and solve this question. This question. And let me know the answer. What should be the correct answer? You have 5 minutes, and I want an answer from each one of you. Priyadarshini, Manisha, Jayashri, you will have to respond to this question. Okay. Are you there in the class? Priyadarshini, Manisha, and Jaya. Okay. Okay, Manisha, please try to answer this question. Tell me which one is the correct option. I have a I have to discuss a like important like applications of conductance after this question. So tell me the answer as soon as possible. Priyadarshini, Jaya, do you have an answer? I have given you the formula also. So I hope you guys can solve it now. 830 moho centimeter per square mole inverse. 830. Check your answer again. I guess it should be matching by with this. Uh, Bhumika, I think there are some calculation error. Okay, Sesha, please solve. Okay, fine. Okay, let me solve this question. This formula mu plus molar conductivity. So in the question we have been given molar conductivity of CO2 plus ion, molar conductivity of FeCN6 ferricyanide anion, which is 5.6 into 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter square volt inverse centimeter second inverse. Then we have 3 into 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter square volt inverse second inverse. The value of delta naught at infinite dilution has been asked. So at infinite dilution, if we say this molar conductivity at infinite dilution, it would be sum of CO2 plus along with their n factors, and their n factor is like this. For this anion we have cobalt 2 plus, so the n factor is 2. So 2 into its molar conductivity into, for FeCN6 it is, the charge is on this whole anion. Okay, so it would be, because we have two cobalt ions. Okay, so it would be molar conductivity of FeCN6 4 minus. This should be your, we have to calculate this. Okay, so now it would become, so we know from this formula it is ionic mobility into n factor into Faraday's constant. So we have already taken into account the n factor. Okay, so this would be CO2 plus would be 96 500 into 5.6 into 10 raised to minus 5. So it gives out 5.404 for molar conductivity of FeCN6 4 minus, it would be 96,500 into 3 into 10 raised to minus 5 equal to 2.902. So these are the two values we get from here. And as we wrote the formula, like total molar conductivity, it should be 2 into molar conductivity of CO2 plus molar conductivity of FeCN6. So it would be 2 into 5.404 plus 2.902. So this comes out to be 16.598 Maho centimeter square mole inverse, because our option is given in this particular unit. So is this question clear to you now? Is it clear? You can just simplify it to be like this: molar conductivity of your cation would be mu plus into its n factor into Faraday's constant. Similarly, for your anion, you can write it, and then for your total, what do you say? Your salt, which is like CO2 FeCN6 here, it would be sum of molar conductivity of cation and molar conductivity of anion. Is it clear now, Sesha? Bhumika, yes, okay. Sesha, can you solve these kind of questions now? Okay. Uh, Monisha, Priyadarshini, Jaya, are you able to understand these questions? Do you have any doubts? Okay. So now we will be discussing another important topic, which is firstly, I'll give you a brief uh, discussion on this important point, which is conductivity or conductance is an additive quantity. Very important. So, in an aqueous solution containing several electrolytes, the total conductance is given by the sum of conductance of each type of electrolyte plus conductance of water. So you were also asking something similar to this part of Sesha. I hope this is of your interest. So
Okay, ma'am.
okay. So molar conductance or conductivity of several electrolytes in a solution. It is basically you have to add the individual conductance of each electrolyte and also of water, where summation Gi is equal to G1 plus G2, and G1, G2 are conductance of electrolytes. So this is conductance. We have also mentioned about conductivity. So similar to this, conductivity kappa would of the total conductivity in such cases, it would be sum of conductivity of each electrolyte plus conductivity of water. So we can say that conductance and conductivity are additive quantity. Therefore, conductivity of water, conductance and conductivity of water is normally very small compared to values of other electrolytes. So we will use G water or conductance of water and conductivity of water only when it is provided or asked in the question. So is this part clear? We have to consider these into the addition only when it is given in the question or being asked in the question. Okay. So now the important topic I mentioned is it is applications of conductance, and a lot of questions are based on this part. Applications of conductance. First application is calculation of ionic product Kw. This was different. Okay, this was conductivity kappa. So basically it is kind of, there is some way it is represented like this. I'm not, my writing is not that good, so it comes out to be simple K. But just keep in mind it is kappa conductivity. And here we are talking about ionic product, which we represent as Kw. So we know that water dissociates into H plus and OH minus ions. So if we write the equilibrium constant for this, which is K, it would be H plus into OH minus divided by the concentration of water. And if you write it as K into concentration of H2O into H plus into OH minus. And we know that concentration of H2O is almost constant. Here, let me write it. Here, the concentration of H2O is almost constant as reaction is not going as much forward. because the dissociation of water into its H plus and OH minus, that is its electrolysis, or you can say its dissociation is very very difficult. So this reaction almost stays in an equilibrium. So we can say not going as much as forward. So the concentration of water is constant here. So this will become, we know that the concentration is constant, so this will become Kw, the ionic product of H plus and OH minus. So therefore, if you look into the concentration or the dissociation of H2O, let's say if we have a concentration C of water initially, and the concentration of OH H plus and OH minus is 0. That is, at time t equal to 0, water is not dissociated. But at some time t, this dissociates with a dissociation, like alpha is what what we say, degree of dissociation. Okay, and this will become C alpha, C alpha. So if you write the equilibrium Kw for this, it would be concentration of H plus and concentration of OH minus, as we discussed now. So this Kw would be, uh, if there is a condition that is applied, that the concentration of H plus ions is equivalent to or equal to OH minus ions. So this Kw will become H plus into concentration of H plus. So Kw would be concentration of H plus square. So the concentration of H plus would be under root ionic product of water. And similarly for OH minus, it would be under root K ionic product of water. So we know that pH of a solution is minus log of H plus and minus log of OH minus. So at 25 degrees Celsius, if H plus concentration is equal to OH minus concentration, which is 10 raised to minus 7, your ionic product will come out to be 10 raised to minus 14. So we can say, we can get a generalized statement that at 25 degrees Celsius, pH of water is equal to 7, neutral, but on increase in temperature, this pH of water reduces, that is, it goes to acidic pH. So we can say that validity of our pH scale is only at 25 degrees Celsius temperature. So the point which they are trying to convey over here is that a pH scale, which is from 1 to 14, and we know that below pH 7, it is acidic medium. Above pH 7, it is basic medium. Up to pH 14, and this pH 7 is neutral. So this pH scale of 1 to 14, where it is acidic over here, basic over here, and neutral over here. This is only and only applicable. This scale is valid, or we can say applicable, at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. So this is we all have a, like, in our mind we know that the pH scale is just from 1 to 14, but no, it also depends on the temperature. So it is temperature dependent. So if, and this question is generally asked that on increase in temperature the value of ionic product of water increase or decrease or remains constant. So this question is asked generally that on increase in temperature the value of ionic product increases or decreases or remains constant. So what would you say? It should increase or decrease? Bhumika, ionic product value should increase or decrease? What happens is that ionic product at higher temperature increases because on increase in temperature dissociation increases. Dissociation of water into H plus and OH minus ions, it increases, which is result in concentration of H plus and OH minus ions. So this ionic product value. So by now you all have just studied that we have a pH scale which is from 1 to 14. We have never thought about there could be any another scale, but all everything in our what would we say, chemistry, physics, or there are certain assumptions on which a particular value is defined. So our pH scale is also defined at a temperature condition which is room temperature condition. And because at room temperature condition the ionic product is, it comes out to be 10 raised to minus 14, because the concentration of H plus and OH minus is 10 raised to minus 7. So we can say that this Kw Kw increases and pKw decreases, which is like pKw is nothing but if our Kw is 1 into 10 raised to minus 14, pKw would be minus log of Kw. So it would be minus log of 10 raised to minus 14, which is 14. So it is at temperature 25 degrees Celsius initially when we are at room temperature. Okay, but when temperature increases, the H plus and OH minus concentration would increase. It would become 10 raised to minus 6 from 10 raised to minus 7. So now the ionic product would be concentration of H plus into OH minus. So it comes out to be 10 raised to minus 6 into 10 raised to minus 6, which is 10 raised to minus 12. Therefore, the pKw would be minus log of 10 raised to minus 12. So this is pKw value would be 12. So as the temperature is increasing, our ionic product is decreasing and our yes, ionic product is decreasing as the temperature is Kw is increasing, Kw is increasing, and pKw is decreasing as the temperature is increasing. So keep this thing in mind. Is this clear? Now we will discuss what is the role of conductance in this topic. Calculation of ionic product by using conductance. Conductance of a solution. When we have ions, we have conductance, conductivity. So conductivity of water, it would be, remember this is kappa and this is Kw ionic product. So this would be H plus into OH minus. And we know that molar conductivity is kappa divided by concentration. We are talking about molar conductivity here. Molar conductance. This is molar conductivity, this is molar conductance. So your kappa would be multiplication of molar conductance into concentration. So if you write for H plus, this would be molar conductive conductance into concentration of H plus. It would give conductivity of H plus, molar conductance into concentration of OH minus. It would give conductivity of OH minus. So your total molar conductivity of water would be molar conductivity of H plus into concentration This is ionic product, and this relation is very very important. Molar conductivity of water. This is very important. And we know, as we discussed earlier also, as the value of molar conductance of H plus and OH minus are very low, so they can be considered molar conductance at infinite dilution. So we can say that our ionic product Kw would be kappa molar conductivity of water divided by molar conductivity of H plus and OH minus at infinite dilution. So this Kw will be kappa H2O divided by molar conductivity of. Very important equation. Now we will solve this question. Oh, we don't have a question in this. So the question is the conductivity of water at 298 Kelvin is 0.554 into 10 raised to minus 7 Simon centimeter inverse. Calculate the degree of dissociation and ionic product of water given the molar conductivity of H plus is 349.8 Simon centimeter square per mole. Molar conductivity of OH minus is 197.8 Simon centimeter square per mole. So find out the degree of dissociation and ionic product of water. Please try to solve this question. Should I solve or you want to give it a try? See, these are very important concept of electrolytic conductance. So I want you guys to go through these type of concepts very like very with very focused mind. And I don't want if you guys are present in this class and not answering. आप लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है ना इस पूरी क्लास का आज तक का जो भी कंटेंट हमने डिस्कस किया है? मनीषा, जया, प्रियदर्शिनी, I want an answer from you. Tell me if you guys are able to follow the content of these sessions. You want to give any feedback or any suggestions, like where I can kind of involve you guys more in this class? Because I get tired speaking, but I don't get a response from like most of you. Only Sesha and Bhumika are replying in the classes. Okay, I'm solving this question. So even if you the questions which are being solved in this session, if you go and practice these questions and a few more questions similar to these, most of your competitive exam syllabus will be covered. And I can guarantee you that because I'm using the content from my like main like the competitive exam notes. So I hope you guys are following these sessions very carefully. So if we know in the question, we have been given the conductivity of water, kappa of water, which is 0.554 into 10 raised to minus 7 Simon centimeter inverse. And the molar conductivity of water at infinite dilution, it should be sum of uh, 0.0010. Okay, let me check if this is the answer. Good, Sesha, you are trying to solve the questions. It is very, I really appreciate your approach. So, in the question, we have been given the molar conductivity of individual ions. So, we'll have to just add them up 349.8 plus 197.8. So, this would come out to be 547.6 Simon centimeter square per mole. Okay, and we have just discussed the relation between molar conductivity and ionic product and the conductivities. Okay, this we know. So if you write the kappa of water is the sum of molar conductivity of OH minus like this. So your product ionic product would be kappa molar conductivity of water divided by molar conductivity of each ions. So this would come out to be point. This is molar conductance. Sorry, molar conductance. Okay, 0.554 into 10 raised to minus 7 Simon centimeter inverse divided by this 547.6 Simon centimeter square per mole. So your ionic product will come out to be when you solve all of these, the ionic product value will come out to be 10 raised to minus 14 mole liter inverse. This will be your ionic product. And if you go back to the question, they have mentioned the temperature 298 Kelvin. So, for example, if you have been given this question as a MCQ question, okay, and we discuss that at room temperature, the ionic product of water is 10 raised to minus 14, which by any thing can't change. It is fixed 10 raised to minus 14. So, if you just have directly looked into the temperature, it is 298 Kelvin. 298 Kelvin means if you write it in degrees Celsius, it is 25 degrees Celsius. Basically, it is room temperature only. So you could have just directly answered this question that the ionic product will be 10 raised to minus 14. Uh, are you getting my point here? So instead of using this whole formula, like approach is this one. This is how you approach the question using this equation and all. But you could have directly answered this question like that. Now, they have also asked in the question about the degree of dissociation, alpha. So, we discussed this. Yeah. Over here, we discussed how the degree of dissociation is correlated with your ionic product. Ionic product is basically concentration of H plus and OH minus ion. So, how do you write it? How do you solve this? Okay. H2O giving H plus OH minus. Initially, it was concentration C at time 0. At some time t, it will dissociate to a certain degree of dissociation. It will be given by alpha, and we will have. So, if we write the ionic product, it is product of concentration of H plus and OH minus. So, it is C alpha into C alpha, C alpha into C alpha. And from the question, from here, we have calculated our Kw ionic product. It is 10 raised to minus 14. So 10 raised to minus 14 equal to C square alpha square. So your C alpha would be under root Kw, that is under root 10 raised to minus 14. So C alpha will be 10 raised to minus 7. Now your alpha would be 10 raised to minus 7 divided by concentration. And the concentration of water should be, if you calculate the concentration of water, it is fixed. It comes out to be 55.55 molar. I hope you guys have studied this in your like school days in your 11th 12th chemistry, which is like molarity is equal to number of moles divided by volume of solution in liter. So this comes out to be, in 1 liter we have 1 kg, or what would we say, 1000 gram. The weight of 1 liter water is 1000 gram. 1 liter water has a weight of 1000 gram. So 1000 gram divided by molecular weight of water. We are This is our number of moles, and volume of solution if we take it as 1 liter. So 1 liter of water has a molarity of 1 liter of water has a molarity of 55.55 molar. I hope this is clear to you all now. Okay. So now, if we know the concentration and degree of dissociation can be calculated by, we have to just put the concentration value here. which is 55.55 molar. So alpha would be 10 raised to minus 7 divided by 55.56. So this will come out to be 1.8 1.8 into 10 raised to minus 9. The degree of dissociation value would be this. Is this concept clear? Manisha, Sesha, Jaya, Priyadarshini. Is this clear? Okay. So there are very interesting conclusions, like interesting significance of all these concepts in electrolytic conductance. You get to know a lot of basic chemistry knowledge from this part of the chemistry. So I really like this electrochemistry like topic in whole chemistry. So I guess you are also enjoying this topic. The second application The second application of conductance is calculation. First was calculation of ionic product of water, and the second is calculation of solubility product of salts. So this KSP solubility product is calculated for those salts which are almost sparingly soluble. So what do you mean by sparingly soluble? Yeah, like completely soluble, then there comes sparingly soluble, like they are soluble to a like very in a very small amount, not completely soluble. For example, for AgCl, it dissociates into Ag plus Cl minus, and let solubility of AgCl is small. That is, the dissolved concentration of AgCl is S. This S we will be using. It is its small solubility, you can say, which is in mole per liter concentration. So if you write it as AgCl giving Ag plus Cl minus, initially it is S, and after some time it forms this. So your solubility product would be small concentration which has been soluble in the solution. So this solubility product would come out to be the multiplication of the solubility product, S into S. So your S is under root solubility product. Now how it is related to conductivity? calculation of KSP solubility product by conductivity. So kappa conductivity of AgCl would be sum of its individual ionic conductivities. That is why we discuss, of AgCl plus water. Now, why are we considering the conductivity of water? Because we know that the solubility, or what we say, the conductivity, or what we say, solubility of AgCl in solution is very less. It is sparingly soluble. So now its conductivity would be comparable to conductivity of water. So we will have to consider the conductivity of water also. Therefore, this is solution. So conductivity of AgCl, only AgCl, it would be conductivity of AgCl solution minus conductivity of water. Therefore, conductivity of AgCl would be kappa Ag plus kappa Cl minus. This can be written as molar conductance of Ag plus into its concentration, molar conductance of Cl minus into its concentration, and we know these are S. These we have already allotted as S, concentration as S. So molar conductivity of Ag plus into S, this would come out to be S into molar conductivity of Ag plus Cl minus. So as the solubility of AgCl is extremely low, the small quantity of AgCl that is dissolved can be considered as infinite dil- infinite dilution. So we can say that the molar conductance of Ag plus is equivalent to its molar conductance at infinite dilution. Similarly for Cl minus. So we can write that the conductivity of AgCl would be S into the molar conductance at infinite dilution. And when in the question conductivity of water is given, because in such questions in this particular topic it could be considered, it is relevant to consider that. So then formula becomes S is equal to, you calculate the molar conductivity of AgCl solution and then subtract the molar conductivity of water. and divide it by molar conductivity of Ag, like this. Is it clear? Is this topic clear? Can we solve the question? We will try to solve only one question because we are left with only 5 to 6 minutes. Manisha, Sesha, Jaya, Priyadarshini, is this concept clear? Solubility product. So please try to solve this question now. It is based on this concept only. Try to solve it. Give it a try. Specific conductance. What do you mean by specific conductance? It is conductivity only. So conductivity is also written as specific conductance. So in the question, you have been given the specific conductance or conductivity of this XY3 salt solution and of the water. It is given, and you have been given the molar conductance of the ions. So just put these values in this formula and try to give me the answer. I hope now you can solve. It is just you have to put the values. I want an answer from you. Sesha, please try to solve this. I don't know if others will give an answer or not. Please try to solve this. Do you have an answer, guys? Sesha, we have two questions, question 1 and 2 on this topic. Should I give this as your homework? Will you give me the answer tomorrow? We will have a class tomorrow also from 6 to 8 p.m. Try to attend that. 3 more minutes, guys. Should I solve or will you be solving it yourself or giving me answer tomorrow? Please write in the chat box. Tomorrow, okay. But I need an answer from you. Manisha, Jaya, Priyadarshini, uh, will you give me answer tomorrow? Will you solve these question 1 and 2? 1 and this is question 2. I'll uploading the notes in the Google Drive. Just check the questions over there and give me the answers tomorrow. Okay, okay, guys. So I'm ending this session for now, and we will get back to these two or three questions tomorrow. So please give it a try, and if you have any doubts, just let me know tomorrow. We will discuss in details after that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sesha. Manisha, Jaya, Priyadarshini, are you guys there in the class? Okay, Manisha. Jaya, Priyadarshini. Okay, guys, have a nice day and happy Women's Day for tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow. Thank you, Jaya. Okay, I'm ending the session now.